Alrighty then, this is going to be a quick demo about how to use Mallard, which is a Grasshopper plugin for connecting Grasshopper to Airtable. Airtable, if you don't know, is similar to an Excel spreadsheet online, but it's a relational database management system. So in addition to having your sheets, you can create relations in between your sheets so that morning keynote activity is related to the grand ballroom. So I can open up grand ballroom, which is in the event locations table, and then I can go straight to that table. This provides a lot of functionality and a lot of power when creating tabulated data. So I'm going to go to the Food for Rhino page. I already have it downloaded, but what you would do here is you would click download and you'd log in, get the latest version, which I believe is here, 1.1, download, and install it the way you would typically install a Grasshopper plugin, which is putting it in the libraries folder of your Grasshopper libraries folder. If you don't know how to do that, File, Special Folders, Components folder, and then Libraries, and Mallard should be here. When you unzip everything, just put everything inside. Well, actually, quick tip, right-click the zip file first and unblock it, and then unzip the contents of your zip into the libraries folder. Because usually when you have these GHA files, if you hit properties, there will be a little thing that says that it's blocked, and then you'll have to unblock, hit apply, and hit OK for each one of the things that was in the zip file. So if you want to do it for the batch of them, you just do it for the zip first and then unzip the object. Okay, so Mallard supports all of the typical database operations that you would do, which are what people typically call CRUD operations. So create, read, update, and delete. There are other sort of like secondary functions in there, but that's like the typical thing that you would want to do to a database. You would want to create a record, read record, so get Airtable record. You can list a bunch of Airtable records. You can list them from a table view, and then you can replace or you can delete them. So we're going to list all the Airtable records from that Airtable base that I was showing you before. And so you can see I get list Airtable records from table view. I have a refresh. This is asking me for a Boolean. So let me go into here and create a toggle, if I can spell it correctly. Boolean toggle. Connect that. Leave it at false for now. We're going to use this to toggle the read function on. I also want a panel over here so that I can see if there are any error messages. Right now it says there's no data because it's not on, and the orange thing is saying that all of these parameters failed to collect data. So we haven't plugged anything into those parameters, so that makes sense, right? So the base ID, this is an important thing to note. The base ID can be found by going to the base, which is here, event planning, and go to the help section and look at API documentation. So the base ID and the app key are the two things that will let us connect to this base. So if I click here to say show API key, which you should keep a secret, but I am not keeping a secret because I don't care about this base. So if I scroll, where is it? It's typically hard to find. Here's the key. See, it has key in front of it. So I'm just going to copy that down. And oops, plug that in, app key. Next, I'm looking for the base ID. So go in here. There's the key. The ID of this base is app muvz. Okay, Control C, minimize, quotation marks, Control V, quotation marks, enter. I've got my app base ID. Okay, now I just need my table name. My table name should be event planning. If I go back here, you can see that, actually no, that's the name of the base. Schedule is the name of the table. Okay. Important thing to remember. So quotation mark, schedule, table name, and then the last thing I need is the table view. So your bases can have multiple views. So I can see them as a calendar. Well, I guess I need to upgrade to see it as a calendar. Or I can see Friday schedule. This is cool because it lets multiple users kind of look at the same data from a different lens. So I want to type in full schedule, case sensitive, include the space. Okay, so quotation mark, full schedule, schedule, and then put that into view name. I know the anticipation's killing me too. Okay. Now I've got nothing because I haven't toggled it on. If I hit true, you can see no response yet. Refresh to try again. So I'm going to hit true again, and success. I get my Airtable records. I've listed them out here. There are 28 of them. And, you know, this is cool, but it's not really telling me anything because I don't know what the hell these Airtable records are. So I need to use Airtable record fields to unpack what these records, like what's inside the records. The fields are like the pieces of the data table. So if I go back here, these are fields, right? So activity, type, start, and notes are fields. So I'm going to look for the activity field just to make sure that we're bringing in the data correctly. So I'm going to type in activity, again, case sensitive. Let's see if we got an error message. Success, and yes. So we've got our thing working, which is awesome. So now we can string together a bunch of fields. I can say, what's the next one here that I want? Type. Enter. Shift to Control to add, and here we go. Now we have a branching tree where the first branch is the name, the second branch is the meal or the type, right? You can imagine how this could be super powerful if you're using this type of information to drive Grasshopper. One example or one way that I've used Airtable in the past to store data or to do collaboration with architecture teams is one example that I'll show you here. So I'm going to try and move fast so you don't see all my bases. Okay. This is tabulated zoning data, which is not something that you can get from the City of New York because the City of New York is under a crisis right now. But you can see that they have a beautiful website. We scraped these images from their website and created these tabulated zoning sort of like diagrams that include information like lot width min, front yard min, rear yard min. And now if we want to connect to this database and pull out the information about what are the rules governing the zoning envelope for that specific R5B zone, I can simply connect to the proper base, use the proper key, look at the correct view, and then search for a specific zone, and then pull out the information by using the different types. So I hope that was a good demo on how to use this. The There's plenty more that you can do because you can write to the database. But for now, this was just a simple example on how to get started with Mallard. So thank you for listening and enjoy.